Welcome to episode 35 of the Chi-Town Shoot Wrestling Podcast. I'm Marcin, and joining me in the squared circle today are Chris, David, and Andres. We're coming at you from the heart of the wrestling world, Chicago, Illinois, bringing you the latest news, hottest takes, and all things WWE and AEW. Questions or thoughts, send them over to chitownshootpodcast@gmail.com. Welcome, guys, to another episode. It's been a little bit of some space in between. I feel like the last episode was like two and a half weeks ago since WrestleMania 41. We did our predictions. A lot has happened since then. Cena won his 17th World Championship.
Boo.
I had my bachelor party last week, which is why we kind of pushed back our recording. Boo, yay. And yeah, and now we're back. We have a lot of news. I did want to get your guys' kind of quick thoughts though on WrestleMania 41 and what you thought overall since that prediction episode. Chris, how'd you feel overall? If you watched night 1, night 2 back to back, what did you think of the show?
I would say night 2 was a better. It started off strong and then it ended kind of flat. I guess I would say something similar to night 1. There was a lot to like in the beginning. It started off hot and then it was just like, okay. Like it wasn't the giant spectacle like those main events I felt should have been, especially with like The Rock missing and all that stuff. I feel like there was just a lot of loose ends that specific match besides the initial win. But, you know, those are my personal feelings about it.
Yeah, I mean, they got The Rock to answer the question why he wasn't there, and he said he didn't feel like it was necessary for him to be there. And honestly, you know, I do give people the benefit of the doubt in terms of like letting it cook, see where it goes, but I feel like this is one of those few instances for me where I'm like, yeah, I think you're wrong here, because you did put yourself in that story at Elimination Chamber, and apparently the only reason, or one of the reasons why he showed up, was because one of the executives asked him to make an appearance because they thought the ticket sales for the Elimination Chamber were still pretty low, which I thought was... I didn't think that was true, because they've been selling out arenas and things and they've had no problem. So I thought that was an interesting comment made by The Rock. But since then he was inserted in the story, I did really think it was like part of that one really long plan that you saw at Bad Blood, where he showed up, did the thing here, and then... You know, I thought that the Cena heel turn was part of this long overarching story, but all we got at the end of WrestleMania 41 was no Rock, and we got was it Trevor?
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott, Jesus, sorry. Travis Scott. Trevor Scott,
whatever his name is.
Your name is Trevor Scott now. Travis Scott coming out, and again, I thought it was just kind of weird for him to come out. Like he's had no promos or anything in between what he did back in Elimination Chamber, and then he just comes out for some random reason. We're not sure why. John Cena doesn't really mention it in his promos building up to it, and then he wins the title. And I gotta say, Cody Rhodes looked kind of like a goofball in that match. If you compare him to the other 2 years, like with Roman Reigns and all the stuff that he put up with, and John Cena doing like the classic, like, oh, please don't hit me with the belt and stuff. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And then he gets, smacked around and basically gets made look like an idiot.
Yeah.
That just wasn't that great. The aura and the energy was awesome. It was like you did feel like it was big match energy, but the way that they landed the plane didn't personally sit well with me. But I will say that night 2 overall had better matches. Definitely one of the best WrestleMania openers of all time with the Io Sky triple threat was amazing. Like the pacing was great. the reversals and all that. It was just like boom, 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 boom. Just very, very well deserving of a win for Io Sky. I loved it. David, what did you think? What did you think of night 1 and 2?
I liked them. I think it's been a while since we've seen like heels win the main events,
Yeah,
other than like Roman.
that's
And
true.
I think that's a big contribution to the dud feeling
Yeah, yeah. I
of
mean,
these main events.
Seth Rollins wins, and I feel like, I mean, that
Dirty
should
Dom, baby.
Dirty Dom won, well deserved. I hope he gets shot to the moon. Seth Rollins wins, and now they have this whole new storyline going in. Triple H likes his factions. The bloodline seems like it's kind of going away, and you got to put something in its place. And it looks like it's going to be a Seth Rollins faction. I
You
feel
know,
like they'll probably,
they
yeah.
should they should have just taken those trios titles from AEW and just incorporated into WWE. I feel like they got more factions than AEW does at this point. I might be wrong.
You may, well,
It's
I don't
pretty
know.
close.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if anything, I do think that the tag titles should be unified. So if you want to do like just one set of tag belts and then a trios belt, I guess I think I would still then have this feeling of too many belts, that I still complain with AEW, and
More
WWE is
belts.
kind of encroaching on that territory as well.
I need the participation belt.
Yes,
Speed
the
championship.
pure strength, open weight, featherweight championship belts.
Showed up to work on time 10 days in a row.
Yeah, they got
Whatever
the speed championship. They already have a lot of belts.
whatever happened to the European title? And how long did that belt even last? How long was that a thing?
Mid 90s to like 2006 ish.
Yeah, it ended pretty. It was around for like a decade. I feel like.
I want to say
It was like,
RVD was part of the unification
yeah.
with the IC. It got unified with the IC when Bischoff was in charge of Raw.
Hmm.
Bischoff.
I mean, I got to say the backlash buildup that is taking place, that'll happen on May 10th in St. Louis. It looks like a pretty good match. I mean, all things considered, they have 2 weeks in between, and I guess that's traditionally how Backlash used to be, where you had WrestleMania. It's called Backlash because it's like a quick, like immediate,
A
like follow-up.
backlash
Yeah, Backlash
of
from
Mania.
from WrestleMania. So I think the card that they got so far, I mean, the Larry Valkyria Becky Lynch thing I thought was really good. Initially, I was like, why did they drop the belt just to, why did they win it just to drop it? And then, okay, I guess that makes sense, because they wanted some kind of like heel turn storyline MacGuffin for Becky Lynch for her to face Lyra Valkyria. That should be really good. The John Cena Randy Orton thing, I mean, I thought their promos were amazing, to be honest with you. All things considered, we can, forget about that ending to 41, but the promo that happened between Cena and Orton was great. I don't know how great of it won't be like a Dave Meltzer 5-star match by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe they can be, I don't know, but historically the Cena Orton matches weren't, anything great, so, but I'm still looking forward to it purely for nostalgia reasons, because I feel like we did see the beginning of their feud in like '07, and then just kind of saw all the variations of it for the next 10 years, and seeing it one more time, I think will be a nice little send off for John Cena and that feud. And we have, the Pat McAfee versus Gunther match, which I think that should be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be an actual match or if it's just a way for Gunther to blow off steam and then just kill the guy. I think this is probably an opportunity for a way to write off Pat McAfee since WrestleMania season's wrapping up. It's a good way to him just get beat up, thrown in an ambulance, and get written off TV. Because there's no way I feel like they could have Gunther lose to Pat McAfee, but who knows? Maybe they'll do something like that, but I doubt it.
He was in the NFL.
Yeah, that's true. And Pat McAfee did put up. He made a promo that I think is better than a really a good chunk of the wrestling roster. I thought he did a great job with his promo. I mean, he's a natural. He's a commentator. He does podcasting. He talks for a living. I feel like folks in that situation generally do pretty well. And then we have the Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre fatal 4-way for the United States Championship match, which that should be a complete banger with all 4 of those guys in the ring at the same time for the belt. I'm assuming Jacob Fatu is going to retain, but we'll see. This reminds me to do our predictions for Backlash. So I'll make sure to have us put in our predictions for this week's PLE. Andres, what do you think? What did you think of the WrestleMania 41 PLE and then the follow-up with Backlash? Any general thoughts before we move into the news?
Yeah, I overall enjoyed WrestleMania. I did enjoy both nights, but yeah, night 2 was just better overall with matches and stuff. I mean, yeah, the Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair match was probably like my top 3 match of all WrestleManias, honestly. Don't know which I'd put it, but like that match was amazing. Like,
Yep.
I wasn't like too sure about like the story because I'm like, oh, they're disrespecting Io. Like, how's this going to lead into it? And I think we all predicted she was going to win, but like that was an incredible match, like really good. But no, overall the show was great. I mean, yeah, like the John Cena like whole ending. I don't know.
Cringe.
I'm not like mad or disappointed, but it's just weird. Like I'm just like, damn. I wonder if this is going to be like a setup for later or something else. Going into Backlash though. Yeah, I'm also excited for the card so far. It's not looking too bad. Cena and Orton for like probably the first time in a long time.
The 300th time, but the first time in a long time.
300th for the first time in a while though.
But their promo was like Dark Goku, and then you had like the Vegeta, who's a family man now, basically talking him down and saying, "What are you doing, man?"
Yeah,
Bizarro world.
Cena's gonna lose and then re-get it in the next pay-per-view, and he'll be an 18-time champion. That's
Please no.
I mean, Randy Orton is not too far off either. I think he's a 14-time.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like really close to.
Oh man, he's gonna do it.
I think he should fit past Flair before he retires.
He has. I think Randy Orton has more gas left in the tank than Cena does. Well, I feel like Cena does too, but it does seem like
I don't think Cena does.
You don't think so? Yeah, maybe not.
No.
Yeah.
I think even before Hollywood got him, because like I could be wrong, but I don't remember him being like such a giveaway with like communication. Unless
he honestly that's his thing. Apparently,
I mean that was like already bad in like 16, but like I don't remember that being so bad in like 06.
I didn't even like people say that, but I don't even like. Maybe I'm just not like paying attention.
I notice it every fucking.
Do you?
What do you mean by communication?
So I think he says like, scoop slam or whatever.
Duck.
Or like he tells us spots.
He vocalizes
Goldberg kick.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't paying attention, but I guess he does that.
He's terrible. I hear it all the time, but like. That's also just like my ear and like fucking sitting this.
I mean, being an audio guy, you're like meticulous with every minute detail.
That's true. I guess I'm just vibing and you're getting the details in. But yeah, I feel like Cena has been doing that for a while. That people say that's kind of like his thing. I don't know if it is more like a past 10 years type thing, but he's been doing it for at least a decade.
I feel like that match was so slow. Like Cena's doesn't have like fucking Ricochet Osprey matches, but like
yeah, he doesn't have to be, but like you could also make
it was so slow. Like I watched Orton and Edge have better like speed than that, and like. You know,
I thought it was a good match, but yeah, like the thing I just didn't like was that ending. And Cena can put on good matches. Like I've seen him do, and maybe it's because of like his opponents, like Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23. I mean, I think that's still one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time. When he like crashed through like that glass in his car at Ford Field. And they put on a banger of a match. Same thing with CM Punk. I mean, he has good matches with folks, but yeah, maybe it's because he's getting up there and he's getting a little slower. I feel like Orton is physically still more capable. I don't think that they will add 3 more title belts on Randy Orton. I don't think that's likely, especially with the trajectory of WWE and what they want to do in the future with younger talent and stuff. I just like currently, I mean, the people at the top right now have been around for like 15 years. You know, like top guys who are currently here, like Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, John Cena, currently the champion, Randy Orton,
Cody
Rhodes, who's been around since
Reigns.
2007, Roman Reigns. I mean, all these guys who are at the top have been around for like 15 years. So, you know, I feel like after this retirement tour thing, maybe they'll be shuffling some cards around. I mean, with Jey Uso, I mean, I guess he has also been around for 15 years as a tag team, and but he just got his first belt, you know.
Nope.
And he feels like a new talent, even though he's not. but it's someone new at the top, which is something that I think they want to do more of. But yeah, so I'm excited for Backlash, and we will definitely give folks our predictions this week. It'll be a much smaller card, so it'll be much easier for us to predict than like 14, 15 matches. But yeah, looking forward to Backlash in St. Louis. But we can jump into the first news segment, and that we're speaking of people retiring, people getting up there in age. Adam Copeland has been making the rounds at local radio stations and gave us a bit of an update on his future. So currently, Adam Copeland is off AEW television after he was attacked by FTR at Dynasty. He made an appearance at a Maple Leafs game and did a radio spot on First Up with Korolnik and Kalikovo. And he was asked how much longer he thinks he'll be wrestling. I keep wanting to say Edge. Adam Copeland said, not much longer. The schedule is far better than what it used to be. If you asked me to try and pull off over 200 days a year that I pulled before, there's absolutely no way because the recovery takes too long now. I'll have a match and it'll take me a good week to finally start walking normal. I've realized now I'm 51 years old. I figure I have until maybe 53, the end of this contract, and then it's probably time to call it a day and get out while I can, still limp away, lick my wounds, and do a whole lot of yoga after. And he turns 53 in October 2026. So it seems like his contract ends basically in a year and a half, give or take.
He debuted at Wrestle Dream, right?
Did you say he debuted at Wrestle? Did he debut at Wrestle Dream?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was this.
That's like an October pay-per-view. That's why I asked.
But it was 2 Wrestle Dreams ago.
Yeah,
it wasn't
it was the first Wrestle Dream.
Yeah,
it wasn't the one where Danielson like retired with
got murdered.
On
a live
bag over his head.
On a live,
a live leak.
on a live. Oh, gotta censor that.
Yeah. No, I think it was 2. And yes, apparently his contract is up in October 2026. So how do you feel about basically that timeline? What do you think he's got left to offer AEW with the year and a half that he has left on his contract? Where do you think he can go in the current storylines, or who would you want him to, tussle it up with? We have like some interesting current feuds. MJF is cozying up with the Hurt Syndicate, right? Because Hurt Business is WWE. The Hurt Syndicate. We have the Owen Hart Cup, and that one has a number of guys. You have Will Ospreay, I believe, who he's facing Hangman, Adam Page, I believe.
Let's go, Osprey.
So
Oi,
I mean,
oi, oi.
I mean, he got attacked by FTR, so I guess that makes the most sense. But given that, what do you guys think he should do in the next year and a half?
Eventually tussle up with Christian Cage, I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
And they've done a little bit of it, right? They've done a little
Yeah.
bit of that.
When he came
They
back,
went back.
he interrupted him, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Christian Cage is currently kind of doing the patriarchy, Nick Wayne stories. Nick Wayne is currently a Ring of Honor champion.
TV champ.
Yeah. And they're like Christian Cage's character. I mean, I guess it's a father figure, tough love kind of thing, but it feels like there's going to be like a boiling over between Nick Wayne and Christian Cage.
Yeah, because he keeps talking about messing with his mama.
Yeah. And they're probably messing in storyline. They probably are messing with each other. But yeah, I feel like Cope's current story. I mean, it starts with FTR. I honestly don't know where it goes from there. You know, beating FTR, and I don't even like. Does he tag with somebody to beat FTR? Because it's not going to be a 2-on-1.
With Sting.
Christian Cage gonna save him.
Mm.
They'd have to answer why he was an asshole that whole time, and now he wants to save him. I guess
Because he's Christian Cage.
Yeah, I guess.
Does what he wants.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
just for like the legacy of his career, you know, like how Cena's kind of going to probably go through all his old opponents and stuff. Like maybe because Adam Copeland had like a long tenure with Christian for so long as a tag team. Maybe they'll probably do that. I don't know how, but like I think him having a tag team match with Christian Cage would be, you know, good. But I don't know how that would happen. But you know,
I need a perfect
they're tag
tag
partners for so long, you know. So like them tagging up for like the last time before he goes, you know.
And I was gonna say, I feel like Tony Khan would want him to retire with like a storybook ending, but that's not necessarily true given Bryan Danielson's finish.
That was
And
a
I'm
storybook, just a crazy dark story.
Yeah, I mean, I guess his ending was at All In, a couple of PLEs prior to that with that whole victory, and then I guess he wanted to go out by trying to give the Death Riders something to chew on and look.
He wanted out in a
dangerous, I
box.
guess. But it didn't really seem to like work out since that happened for the Death Riders. I feel like the Death Riders, I don't know, they're not getting go away heat either. It just feels a little tepid to me, but they tried. But I feel like for the Cope retirement, I feel like they might want to give him something proper, like a Sting retirement, like he did for him.
Oh yeah, because he's
crazy.
close. He's so
Yeah.
close to Sting. So close. So close.
Adam Copeland never won
here's
the
Sting. Here's
AEW
Cope.
title.
Yeah, man. You're right.
To who?
Or maybe
Sorry, Cole.
maybe he leaves his contract and then just does one last run with WWE in some form and then retires. Because you know, like he showed up in AEW, he wanted to try something new, but WWE is his home, really. You know, I feel like
Yeah.
it's weird for him to end it in AEW, but I mean that's his decision. Sting is a unique creature. He showed up in WWE, which is weird because that was like a fish out of water thing. Sting was more TNA than WWE, like in terms of belonging somewhere.
Right.
So, but Edge feels like, or Adam Copeland feels like a WWE guy. So it'd be weird to have his last match in AEW, but it's his career.
Actually, you know, what'd be another cool thing. I mean, I know I brought it up earlier, but like Gangrel was there for a minute. Maybe he'll come back. He'll do a brood thing for like an actual brood, like all three of them, not just the two. But
And I think Edge in WWE pitched the concept of Gangrel showing up. And I think this might have been when Vince was still, it was like the
Yeah, he did.
weird moment where Vince was like, they're not there. They were like, no, we're not doing that. But I think that'd be cool. I'm curious how long Christian's contract is, because maybe they could just both leave and then do one last thing at WWE. But
You
we'll
think
see.
they're gonna put a championship belt on him? I imagine on Cope.
that's what I was wondering too. Because I don't even did he ever win the big one? No, not yet. Right? AEW.
We had the TNT belt
No.
for like a second.
Yeah,
He got hurt.
yeah, he got a mid card belt, but
He
I
got
don't think they
hurt.
ever gave him the strap. Well, what do you guys think? Do you feel like wrestlers like Adam Copeland who come back later in their careers, because he had that neck injury and then he came back after a long time and then he basically had a whole other career. Do you feel like that kind of changes the perception of how long a wrestler can stay active? Like we feel like certain wrestlers, or you reach a certain age and you can't go any longer. But I guess in wrestling,
How old was
50 is
Flair?
still young. Yeah, I mean Flair
How old
is.
was Flair in Evolution?
Oh, he must have been in his
60s probably.
late 50s.
Because he was still doing like 200 plus matches a year. Like, I think there was one year where he actually wrestled the most out of Evolution.
Yeah, I mean they put him in a Money in the Bank like at WrestleMania 22 ladder match, and he was like 59 or 60.
They said, "Hey Rick, how's your back?" Okay, good, because you're about to fall off top of
All
this
right, you're
shit.
about to go with one with Shelton Benjamin. In the Money.
Hey, you can still take a bump, right? Cool.
That was wild. I mean, yeah, I feel like Ric Flair. I mean, he is such a unique creature. I mean, I guess not. That's not true, because I guess in wrestling there are a lot of guys who do not retire, and that is the running joke where you retire and then you just keep working the indies and you keep doing that one last match. I mean, Ric Flair did his retirement match where he almost killed himself at like what 72, 71.
One more match.
I think he's still got one more in him.
I think he does too.
I mean, we saw the dude from Rock and Roll Express do his match in freelance, or at least I did. Rock
Oh,
and
yeah.
Roll.
Somebody from Rock and Roll. I think they just took a power driver from FTR.
They did.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I just saw
mullet
that.
guy.
So, what do you
Yeah.
guys think? Is it better for guys like Edge to go out while they can still quote unquote limp away, or should they stick around in like a non-wrestling role, like managing or commentary? How do you guys feel about guys still sticking around?
I think it's cool when they fit in. I don't think I don't know. I can't even like Judgment Day. I couldn't like really see a faction like built around Edge. Like even La Familia, I was just like, eh.
Yeah.
I
Like
feel like
something.
it was on the cusp with the Judgment Day stuff, because it was like literally like it. They just started it, and he was the thing, and then suddenly he wasn't, and then
Mhm.
it wasn't enough.
Somebody
time to
got
see if it was
hurt.
gonna be good. Yeah.
Somebody got hurt, and that's why Edge had to switch to. That's why Judgment Day turned on him.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think it goes back to like remembering him as like a loner character and things like that. Where it's just like when I see people, when I see him with people, unless he's a vampire, I'm like, what are you doing with people? You're supposed to be a loner.
You're supposed to be an
RKO?
expert on Buffy the Vampire
Yeah,
Slayer. What are
and
you
even
doing?
see like rated RKO was cool because it's one guy. Like you
Yeah.
can still be a loner and be cool with one guy.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree. Well, what do you guys think? Well, so you know what? I think what I'm seeing more of, and maybe it's more unique to like more of the younger generation, but I think a lot of them are kind of putting a timestamp or an expiration date on their retirements. I feel like Shawn Michaels mostly did that, with the exception of that one match that he did in Saudi Arabia with Triple H.
That extra zero that he never seen on a check before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, with the exception of that, Shawn Michaels has been pretty good, and a lot of guys don't really do, keep coming back. I mean, Bret Hart, he did the little mini run in WrestleMania 26, had a United States Championship belt run, and then went away. And I think that's primarily because of health. Maybe if he was still more fit, then he would keep doing it. But I feel like guys like John Cena are setting an example of like, all right, I'm stopping at 45 or whatever it is. Do you feel like that's going to be a pattern, or do you feel like John Cena is going to be a unique kind of person in that respect? Like, do you feel like Edge, when he says, I'm retiring next year, do you believe him?
I believe these batch of guys more than like a Flair or a Hogan era. I think I think their agents are a little more in their ear than say like those two,
Mm-hmm.
or even like yeah, I'd say like them, like Warrior, all those type of guys. I don't think they ever like really like consider themselves more than wrestlers.
Yeah.
Whereas like like obviously like after the success of like Rock and shit like that, like, it's just been more of a like, hey, they like you on TV. You don't have to do the other stuff. You can find a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would say like even though Hogan was like one of the first ones to do it, like really like going to the movie scene, like The Rock kind of like set that bar for other wrestlers to
Yeah.
kind of find other avenues outside of wrestling. So really Edge saying, I'm gonna hang him up next year, he's probably got something else down the pipeline to do, whether it be somewhat wrestling related, like in the background, or still on camera, but doing, I don't know, the Marine Six or something. I don't know, but
I mean, Adam Copeland actually has had like the one thing for Hogan, like he did try to have a movie career, but that didn't work out really well. Dwayne Johnson, I mean, was probably the first wrestler to have a truly successful transition into Hollywood and having this giant successful career. Dave Bautista did the same thing. Edge has done. I feel like he has had a career, not to the degree of like Batista, who I think has been the best actually out of in terms of acting. Dave Bautista has the most range in terms of his acting career and his roles.
Hell yeah.
Edge has
he got less bad movies.
He's appeared in like Havoc or whatever, or Haven, or whatever that TV show's called.
Edge is good for TV.
He's done like a lot of cool like TV series and shows like that.
Vikings.
And he has a career
Percy
there.
Jackson.
And I think the guys in this generation do see that there are other avenues, especially now with like the internet, like YouTube, people creating their own podcasts, beer companies. Like there's a lot of more opportunity beyond wrestling versus like what you said,
other
David
beer.
and Andres, is like wrestling was basically it. Like they that's what they lived for, and there wasn't a lot of opportunities outside of that. But now you can really make a name of yourself, and you could be a brand and be selling and doing things that you like, and purely based off your name and identity. And it doesn't just have to be wrestling. So I think there's more of a light at the end of that tunnel. But I don't know. We'll see. I am curious to see what Tony Khan does with Cope's character when he comes back. I'm sure there'll be a blow off with FTR, and then we'll see where that goes. In terms of his retirement, I hope it ends in WWE. But we talked a little bit about Hogan and his movie career, and that kind of can segue into the next story with a brand new combat sports company that they were Eric Bischoff and Hogan were basically teasing, and they talked about a third man, and Hogan and Eric Bischoff did an NWO style video basically announcing Izzy Martinez as their third man, and they announced the launch of Real American Freestyle Wrestling. So Martinez is a longtime freestyle wrestling coach. He's coached multiple NCAA All-Americans and UFC fighters like John Jones, Holly Holm, and Yair Rodriguez. And Hogan wants American freestyle wrestling to be big. The launch of the promotion has been a big talking point recently, especially with the involvement of Hogan and Eric Bischoff. Wrestling community has been talking crap for the past couple of weeks. The first big event that they're holding is August 30th. I believe it's in Cleveland, Ohio. And I think fans are going to be interested to see how it plays out for American Freestyle Wrestling. While speaking with Fox and Friends for a new interview, Hogan said that the goal for the promotion is to be as big or bigger than WWE or UFC. This is what Hogan said. Yes, it is. It's freestyle wrestling, and it's professional now because we get to pay the athletes. Izzy is our linchpin. He has trained all of the Olympic athletes, all the NCAA champions, all the college kids that really have made it. He was our source to pull in all these great athletes and get everybody signed. Our goal is not to be competitive with Dana White and the UFC or WWE, but to just be as big or bigger because this is an underserved market. So when
Izzy
I heard
Martinez is from here. Sorry.
is it from Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like when I heard the story, when I first saw the clip, I thought it was like some kind of weird podcast announcement. When I just saw like Hogan and Eric Bischoff, I thought maybe they were going to be pushing some new boner pill or beer or something.
Yeah, same.
Real,
The
Real American
IPA
boner.
of real American beer, brother.
Some real American beer and some real American
Real American boners.
bean pill.
So when I
Man.
first saw like that video, when I was like scrolling, I was like, "What the hell is this?" Or like, this must be some kind of like weird, like infomercial for like a mattress or some kind of new like massage chair or something that they signed up for.
I don't need no pill.
And yeah, then I was like reading more into this. I'm like, wait, you're not selling car insurance. You're you're doing you're doing a whole new promotion, and it was like a not and I thought it was going to be like pro wrestling, and I thought it was pro wrestling related, but it's amateur pro wrestling. So it's guys in singlets, like what you see in high school and in the Olympics, basically doing like quote unquote real wrestling.
Greco-Roman.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And it's not like we've never seen this happen before. Vince McMahon went out of his comfort zone and did the XFL, delved into
I was
football.
just watching that documentary today.
Nice.
Which documentary?
The XFL one. There was a 30 for 30 on it.
Is it recent?
I want to say it's came out in the last 2-3 years because Vince looked pretty old.
Did he have the mustache?
I was gonna say.
Well, yeah, because I think he shaved it off recently. But honestly, I didn't see that documentary, but I would be curious to see. Does it have a lot of Vince in it? I'm assuming, since it's kind of his baby.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Vince in it. Like he makes a lot of he makes a lot of good takes. Just like the weird stuff that happened in that XFL. Like one day they had a media blackout because somebody forgot to put fuel in the generators.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, if I would have had my guys from the WWE here as my camera crew, that wouldn't have happened. And it's like, oh, yeah, you might have a point, Vinnie Mac.
So when you guys read the story and maybe, as you were listening to me talk to, read his little quote, what's your first reaction to Hogan starting also with Eric Bischoff, I guess, starting a new combat sports company, and it's amateur wrestling?
I hope they find a way to make money for a long time because like those guys are fucking dogs, dude. Like some of our favorite wrestlers are like have an amateur background,
Yeah.
and like
Lesnar,
yeah,
right?
Les, Angle, Gable, you know, like even like Ziggler, Cody Rhodes was an amateur wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
Thousand
like,
people I'm not thinking of.
I think what I'm worried about, and maybe not worried about, but I guess there is bound to be some level of pro wrestling related, you know,
Pizzazz.
pizzazz, yeah, whatever you want to call it, added into it. And which isn't a bad thing because I feel like regular mainstream sports have started, have been using for a while, like the recap videos and like these vignettes that I feel like WWE has been doing for a while, and I feel like it was adopted by other sports with these vignettes and promos. So I feel like that's nothing new, and I'm sure that'll be included in this new version. But I wonder if they're gonna, like the XFL had some interesting ways of separating themselves from the NFL, making it more theatrical in a way. Like maybe they'll be cutting promos on each other before they
Nicknames.
go in the middle of the ring. Nicknames coming out to fireworks and having a Titantron and all that kind of stuff. I think that could be interesting. Especially because you're basically combining the theatrics and then basically doing uh, quote unquote real combat sports, and marrying that together. But I don't know if Eric Bischoff or Hulk Hogan can stick the landing based on their track record. Um, so do you feel like his claim that they're not a competitor, but they still want to be as big or bigger, do you feel like that's realistic, or do you think he's just talking a lot of hot air?
You're
I
talking
mean,
about
it's Hogan,
Hogan,
right?
right?
So.
It is Hogan. I did say Hogan and hot air in the same sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he can aim for that, but I don't know. Like, and to be honest, I saw like the pictures of him and Bischoff together. I just kind of like never minded because that's kind of what I do a lot now with Hogan.
Cringe.
But I'm just like, okay, whatever that is. And then now that you said what it actually is, that's my first time actually like hearing about it. So I'm like, oh man, my first initial thought was why, but I mean, why not either? I guess him and Bischoff have a long friendship and stuff. So I mean, I'd be curious now that I know what it is, and so I mean, like now that I know, I'm like, okay, look into it a little bit to see. I'm not a big fan of the name, but
I just hope they find like a way to make sure that all those guys that they end up bringing on for the ride, like, have a sustainable life afterwards.
which is good.
Cause,
Yeah, I think
like,
that's cool.
I know some amateur, like, I have friends and like just know people that like wrestled in high school and middle school and all that, and like traveled when they were 8 years old, 9 years old, and like even now, like in the gym, they're absolute dog. And
Yeah,
like if there's a place for them other than like what they're doing for clocking in and out, like I hope that works out because like they deserve it. Like even like I grew up with a lot of amateur, or well, obviously freestyle wrestlers are amateur wrestlers, and like they work so hard. If you know them, they work hard as like I played basketball and ran track, and I can tell you I did not work as hard as them.
It's
yeah,
tough.
and
Yeah.
yeah. Chris, you had thoughts?
I just hope to get compensated well. I imagine that they're probably going to have um, lengthy contracts potentially, or however they're going to kind of decide to do that. I'm curious what does current like amateur wrestling look like on like ESPN, or like how many people are actually watching it? What's the interest of it overall?
I mean, that's a good point. I feel like we'll see because this is going to be supposedly a big endeavor, and they say it's an underserved market. I think what I'm going to be curious to see is how, because professional wrestling has the word professional in it. A lot of there has been a bit of like a stank on pro wrestling because it's called pro wrestling when it's staged, and amateur wrestling when it's legitimate, like real uh, results, and the guys are
Wins and
working.
losses matter.
Yeah, so like having like pro wrestling carnies basically creating like an amateur wrestling company. Do you feel like the community who watches amateur wrestling, do you think that'll be a backlash because they're doing it? Do you feel like they'll look past that and just be happy that this is getting more of a mainstream appeal, or attempt to anyway?
I think Izzy's the stamp that they need.
I mean, there's definitely. I mean, the idea I imagine when they were probably talking about this idea is that they have name recognition, and it's obviously going to draw a lot of eyeballs to it, at least in the initial, first episode or however they're going to kind of do this. What was the network they were going to be on, or how is this going to be aired, or is there
They
any
haven't said.
information on that?
I don't know if it's
It's not in it.
televised. Because there's a
But I
first
mean,
event being held on August 30th. I don't know if they actually have like
that's kind of the point of Bischoff.
for the TV deals.
Either TV, streaming. I'm sure they'll find something.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll probably be
Tubi.
streamed. I don't know if it's going to be on like a Fox or something
Or
like that.
probably like a Thriller or IW. Well, not IWTV, but Thriller, which is just IWTV with other shit.
Yeah,
You said it's August 30th is when they're gonna have it. You said.
I think it's August 30th in Cleveland, Ohio. They're doing their first event, so I'm assuming it might be streamed, but I don't know if it'll be on like TV or cable or anything like that.
Wonder if
That's a
they're going to
Saturday.
travel.
What was that?
Wonder if they're going to travel, or it's just like they're just going to be there.
I'm assuming it's going to be like UFC type events or even boxing. I don't know how frequent this is going to be. I don't think it's going to be like, a weekly show where they're cutting promos on each other.
It's gonna be like I don't want to say like small time, but like the subsidiaries of UFC, like the stuff Punk does and that does commentary for. I feel like it's gonna be like that crowd size.
Okay.
Hopefully they're not on OnlyFans like them, but I mean if they are, like whatever. There's also cooking instructional videos other than Joy videos.
That's true. But yeah, I wish them the best of luck. I think it'll be interesting once the actual event happens, and then the build up leading into it. What else are they offering? What is it going to look like? And if they can engage younger fans and build a loyal audience from the start, because I'm sure there's a whole generation, they don't know the baggage of like Hogan and Bischoff,
Yeah.
and maybe they'll see this new promotion and just be like, hey, like we see this in our high schools and colleges, and it doesn't get the recognition it deserves, and now there's an opportunity to see this. Best of luck, I'll say.
Like
yeah.
Like even like dude, like I know, I know dudes that wrestled that like fucking like guys that went further in like basketball or football, like they can't even like hang in the gym, dude. Like
Yeah.
There's because like in like wrestling, you need like strength to like overturn. Like the closest ball sport would have to be football to like some kind of like I have to overpower somebody, because you don't have to do that necessarily in like basketball. You just have to be quick on your feet and have agility. But like to physically overpower somebody, it's just
strength
different
conditioning is different than strength.
Shit, freshman year, or maybe it was sophomore year. I tried doing wrestling for like two sessions. It was tough. I was I was winded as fuck. Those drills were kicking my ass. I mean, I wasn't a athletic kid, but you know, it definitely humbled my ass.
That's true.
I went to wrestling once and was like, yeah, I better show up basketball tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, respect.
Do you guys want to see, before we move on to trading cards, do you guys want to see anything pro wrestling, anything borrowed from pro wrestling in this promotion?
Let those guys talk. Let those guys talk. That's it. Like UFC does a really good job of like either like the Lesnar promos in like 2016ish, where he sits down and is like, "Oh, I'm an ass kicker." Like like let those guys talk, because they'll find a way after that. Like one thing that I don't like about amateur wrestling is that it's like it's a guy in headgear, right? Like, how are you supposed to recognize his face? How are you supposed to do like this and that? And especially like in a world of NILs and like this being grab at like the professional side of it, it's like, let those guys talk, let those guys have a personality, let those guys find other ways to expand themselves, because
yeah, I
they
feel
work
like
harder than a lot of people.
what it needs to, if you want to attract people, I feel like it does need, you got to peacock a little bit. You got to have some of that pomp and circumstance, and you know, the fireworks and like the hype, the music, having them talk. Maybe not necessarily just having them, you know, go in a ring and start cutting promos on each other.
Right.
I mean, maybe, but like at least have like you said, the interviews, have them talk about, you know, their journey.
Yeah, put them in a space to tell their story.
Right,
like,
exactly.
I think if they could put themselves in a space to tell their story properly, like they don't need to go to WWE or UFC, but like what they can do is go out and you know, like make public appearances, you know, talk to high schools. Like us being from the Midwest, like wrestling is huge in the Midwest, and like maybe I don't know if you get like it was like heavy in you guys, like for you guys growing up, but like amateur wrestling was a big deal in the schools I went to growing up, and like it goes back to just like I know people that are freaking dogs, dude, and like I wish that there was something for them when we were growing up, where they could give themselves a platform to show like that they are dogs, like.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, for at least in the high schools that we've been to, I feel like football always was kind of taking the spotlight from other sports teams. I feel like it always tends to go in that direction. But yeah, I feel like amateur wrestling in general was always the least sexy thing.
Like even the best like defensive football players that like I grew up with all wrestled before they decided to like completely stick to football. Like they all wrestled. Like they all owe a lot of their stuff to wrestling, and yeah, like I don't know. Like to me, amateur wrestling should be as big as in general. Amateur wrestling should be. I don't want to say as big as like football and basketball, but like it should be looked at in the same place as like what gets
UFC.
you in that. Yeah, like it's an entryway to MMA. Like Brock Lesnar was a collegiate wrestler. Like he was a like Kurt Angle, like all those.
And maybe they could then go into WWE if they want. You know, like maybe that could be just another, you know, ground where you get like some pretty good talent who just want to then do something different. You know, and be a Kurt Angle in, you know, in
Mark Henry
wrestling.
Like
they can
Henry
also
with lifting.
They can lean on the fact that it is, I'm pretty sure, is the oldest sport as far as just like, you know, but there's probably been variations.
That was an Olympics version 1, bro.
Exactly. Like legitimately, like Greco-Roman style. That's why they call it that, because back in the days of like Plato and shit. Like they were doing. I think Plato was a wrestler too, and they were wrestling. So I mean, it's a very ancient sport that they could probably do some dramatization of that kind of shit for that fact. So nothing
Just
older
don't
than
make it like Ico Pro.
overpowering a motherfucker, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good way. Well, there's no segue to go into the next one, but you know what? Yes, we're talking about wrestling. And speaking of wrestling, we're going to talk about wrestling trading cards. And wrestling trading cards, I feel like has had I don't want to say rebirth, but there's been more of a hype with wrestling cards specifically since Topps, which is kind of a funny name, Topps, which has been around. Where's the bottoms? Which has been around for like since the 1930s or 40s, where they were doing baseball cards, and they were basically selling like gum, and you'd have a baseball card, that came with it, and they've been around since World War II, expanded into other sports, and they also got into pro wrestling cards. They've had a long partnership with WWE, and then WWE basically had different partners, including Panini, which is also a funny name. Like, here's a sandwich, here's a position. But
What's going on in this world?
But yeah, like pro wrestling, I feel like trading cards have recently kind of gotten a bit of a resurgence, as in it's been popular, and there's been an audience for it for a while. I feel like in the United States, it's gotten much hotter recently than it ever has been. And this is, I think, in part due to well, I mean, let's talk about like trading cards in general. Like, thank you for putting up the Pokemon cards, but the concept of a trading card and why it appeals to people in a certain way, I think, varies. So, like, for me as a kid growing up, Pokemon cards were massive in terms of popularity. And why do people like collecting cards? I think there's a bit of that itch in your brain, that dopamine hit that you get. It's kind of probably the same thing that you get.
Ooh, we better open
gamble.
that shit right now, boy.
It's the same thing you get when you gamble, right? And I think people were giving children or adults were giving issues with Pokemon trading cards because they did feel like it was maybe a form of gambling for children in the 90s, because you are paying money for something that is randomized and you are trying to get something good out of it. So it's like, putting dollars in a slot machine and you hope you get all sevens. You give the $6 to the guy at the JJ Peppers and you hope your specific pack has a holographic Charizard or whatever. So trading cards, I think, scratch a certain itch with like the surprise, like the peekaboo surprise. Here's a special thing that comes out of the packet, and then you get something cool out of it. I know as a kid, I liked collecting them because they look cool. I didn't necessarily know how to play the game, and that's another aspect of certain trading card games like Magic, Digimon, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, which also had a big resurgence.
One
those
Piece.
specifically, One Piece, yeah, thank you. One Piece, I mean, Star Wars, I mean, there's been so many different brands who collect cards, and there's an audience for every single one of those. And they also have very expensive cards in all of these brands. And for WWE recently, I think a lot of the appeal, and this might be partially after Fanatics, I think, purchased Topps, and they did it for their baseball cards, and they're doing it for the WWE cards, where they're basically doing for the new Topps Chrome something. They are including these debut patches that appear on various parts of wrestlers' attire, and then they take that off the person's attire, and then they attach it to a trading card. And you can potentially, in your pack or box that you get one of these. Also, autographs. They were been signing thousands of autographs that also appear in that. I think there's a certain appeal to that as well. But I mean, trading cards, I feel like have been very integral. I feel like for a lot of our childhoods. Do you guys? What was like the first trading card game that got you guys into it, or have you guys ever gotten into trading cards? I guess, David. Like, when did you first start getting interested in collecting cards?
First grade, Pokemon. My aunt is 7 years older than me, so she had a lot of classmates that had Pokemon cards when I was just watching the cartoon.
Yeah, that's where the gambling addiction starts. Right?
Yep.
They got you with the Pokemon cards.
And then, like, when I was 12, my basement flooded and I lost, like, a lot of, like, original cast of Pokemon, like, a lot of the 99 2000 drops. So
Yeah,
now
I
I'm
mean,
just
and I
filling
mean,
that
like,
void.
yeah, I mean, like we parents would say, like, why are you collecting these things? Like, this is never gonna do anything. And now you have a bunch of cards that you could probably get for, a small house down payment.
Oh, dude.
If
Oh
you
yeah,
saved your
yeah.
cards,
You can buy a car with
If
that
my
shit.
if my cards survive,
Damn.
like,
ooh,
yeah, like, if my cards survived, I would be I mean, I'm not terrible, but I'd be a lot better off. Like, I definitely had, like, a lot of, like, $300 to $500 cards that, like, my mom understood the concept of card collecting because my uncles collected baseball and basketball cards in the 80s. So, like, I got things that were, like, sleeved and in top loaders and all that, but they couldn't be protected from water.
and for them, and I don't know if you've had a conversation with them, but like for them collecting like baseball cards or basketball cards, what drew them to collecting the cards? Is it the same reasons that I bring up, or did they have a different reason for collecting those cards?
I think it was just such a thing in the 80s in general that it was kind of cool. And then, like, I mean, if you think about it, like, that was like peak baseball popularity. You know, Michael Jordan was coming into his own in basketball, so that's like there's peak basketball popularity. Back then there was two sport athletes like Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders, so that also, like, contributed to just like the overall coolness factor of everything. Everybody was getting shoes, things like that. I think for me, like, I was just trying to catch up to Ash.
Yeah, I
Like,
was
I was
trying to
just
catch them all too.
yeah, like that's really it. Like, when when I used to go after Pokemon cards and all that, it was just really like I wanted to have what I had in the game or what I seen on TV.
To that point, I just want to add that I think there's something to sharing that like excitement and passion
Right.
that a lot of kids our age or whatever, like the baseball stuff, all that kind of stuff, like a group of people sharing excitement for a very specific thing that, like, in this case, adding a card factor to it is just like this, like, exciting, like Marcin said, like kind of like a dopamine hit when you open a pack and you get it, and it's just exciting, and you can share that experience with some kids and they get jealous or whatever, and
Right.
they're like, oh, I gotta go and get a pack too, or it's just this entire just web of just like, good feelings or something. That I think that's partially why people like doing that.
I used to get packs for being a good boy.
Yeah.
There you
Like,
go.
I feel
when it'd
like
be
we
like
got
school.
yeah, I feel like we got packs just because my dad would get like scratch tickets at
Fallen
the JJ
too.
Peppers on Central and Addison.
He's like, I'm
I
finna
think it
hit,
was.
you finna hit, kids.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'm gonna get a scratch ticket. You get your Pokemon cards because I do remember they had like the gym leader series where it was like Blaine and Misty and all that, and then it was on the JB Peppers, I think it was like where like the counter was, and they just had like a little
Yeah.
rotating
Yep.
thing for cards.
Trying to buy a pack of cigarettes, or you trying to buy a pack of cards?
Yeah,
Pretty
well,
much.
exactly. That's how you groom your children
Like
for
I
different adult activities. I feel like, but I think there's this primal urge to collect shiny things or something cool, and then you
right.
can show it off and share it with your other tribe members, and it goes through every single like cool or popular um, genre or topic, like anime, games, sports, and I think the concept of collecting, there's just something to it. I think looking back on it, you'll get nostalgia. It could be your 401k if you know how to grade your cards.
Mhm.
It is a opportunity to be competitive because you could use them, not necessarily maybe baseball cards, but Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, etc., to go into tournaments. So not only collecting them because they look cool, but there's actually a strategic advantage to what cards you get, and put them together and kick other people's asses in a community, which I think is really cool. So we can go back to let's rope us back into the main story, which is, I feel like, the rebirth of wrestling trading cards. So Topps regained the license this past year, and basically it's returned in a major way. And the Topps staff and the company is now under the new parent company, Fanatics. So the comeback with Topps is marked by fresh concepts and fan-focused features like the debut patch that I mentioned and WrestleMania patch cards. So there's physical memorabilia that are worn by the superstars during milestone moments like WrestleMania or their first main roster match. And then these one-of-a-kind cards are authenticated and then often autographed. Topps is also emphasizing storyline through its products. So it's aiming to track a wrestler's journey from debut to main events across multiple cards. Highlights can potentially include things like the first Rock Austin dual autograph card and the inclusion of inscriptions and relics that have never been seen before. And then the new collection is Chrome instead of using their flagship paper product. And the debut 2025 WWE Chrome basically sold out in like 5 minutes.
I can't get
And
that shit.
and a Topps Now card featuring The Rock, John Cena, Travis Scott had also record-breaking sales, which kind of shows a lot of enthusiasm for the current product and talking about how much more popular it's gotten. So yeah, I wanted to. I didn't have Topps, but I did get a Chronicles box from a local GameStop.
Oh hell yeah!
I couldn't find the Topps Chrome cards, but I feel like these are just as
scalpers.
valuable and cool.
We
Yeah.
coming for you. Nah.
So I did want to open one pack on this specific episode, but then I will open the remaining 5 on my own. I might just do like that 10-minute shoot segment and then just open them there. But you can see here, and maybe I should take off my
No, you're good.
background, but you can
Nice.
see that that's what the pack looks like. And if you're into ASMR, here's a little bit of a crinkle for you. You have Bobby Lashley on the cover, who is no longer in WWE.
He
Liv
now
Morgan,
hurts people.
Bianca Belair, and Drew McIntyre. So I'm gonna, yeah, you like that ASMR, folks?
Let's
I'm
get
gonna
that
open
Sola
this.
Sikoa numbered, man. 1 of 10. Come on,
He
baby.
just rips the
Come on, baby.
Yeah, just
Solo.
rip one card.
Solo.
So
I love you.
You guys ever
All right,
do that?
what do
Like,
I got?
oh, go ahead.
Okay. I got Cameron Grimes.
Hell
I
yeah.
got a Cameron Grimes
That's the
card
one.
from
I just
NXT
did-
2.0.
He was
Leave it
just
up.
at Logan Square Auditorium not too long ago. He's not in the company anymore.
Yep. Oh, and maybe it's rare because he's no longer relevant, I guess.
Hey.
Ocean of obscurity.
Yeah, the Ocean of Obscurity. Number
No, dude, we're gonna ask him.
199.
We're gonna ask him for a signature when we see him at LSA.
Island of
Yeah.
Relevancy.
Oh shit! I got a Tiffany Stratton Rookies and Stars card.
Oh man,
Is
that's
it colored?
$500
Oh
right
fuck,
there, bro.
dude! Is it a parallel? It's Tiffy time.
Nice.
This is
that's
basically
$500.
before she got big. This is her Rookies and Stars card. So that's pretty cool.
Damn. Y'all let me come
Yeah.
over real quick.
I thought you were gonna say that was before her Orlando doctor visit.
And then this is the back of it. NXT 2.0.
I'm about to have to censor
I mean, that's
this
got to be
one.
rare though. For that fact alone,
shoot.
David.
Look at this. I got a this is a prestige card. I got a Razor Ramon.
Hell yeah!
Razor Ramon, baby. This is a WWE Legend card.
The
Prestige
Razor.
2022. And then we got a Chronicles card with Vader, and not the traditional Vader, but the Vader where he looks like he's from
It's
Alien.
Vader time.
From
Yeah, that
Guar.
looks pretty cool. Another WWE Legends card, Chronicles edition.
That's sick.
Ooh, I got a Elite Edge card. So this is when he.
Boring.
Nice.
Speaking of Adam Copeland, I got an Edge card, an Elite Edge card
Give me
here.
that shit.
Nice.
Look at that
Just me
shininess.
sleeping.
Hold on, give me a sec. And I got a Brock Lesnar Chronicles card over here. Here, I think he is about to F5 Austin Theory, it looks like. So that's a pretty cool card over here. And then a Chad Gable
Thank
Monday
you.
Night Raw card.
Juice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, these cards are actually honestly pretty sick. And this is the Panini brand that was with them right up until this year. And I think they did a pretty awesome job. Honestly, these are pretty damn cool. I'm excited to
One more
look
pack.
into these. No.
One more pack.
All right, final D, one more pack.
Oh,
Don't pick,
what
don't
the
pick
audience
one at the
wanted.
top.
Huh? No, it's not the one at the top. It's in the all the way in the back. All right, I'm making sure I'm not
Let
going
me see that Brock card again.
Brock, you said?
Yeah.
This one. This one here. Are you trying to like grade it or something? Probably 25 cents. All right,
That's
so
at
I'll
least
open the
a
next
buck.
pack.
Keep the
say a
suspense for
dollar?
a second. What was that binder you got, Andres?
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is my personal collection of cards that I had like since I was like 6.
Yeah, what are they?
It's actually kind of like all over the place. I have like, I mean, because like when I was collecting, I was big into X-Men and comics, so I was doing it like that. You know, like I just wanted to get like my favorite characters and stuff. For some reason, I also got Toy Story as well. No, I don't remember.
Hell yeah.
Yo,
So
Oh, that's awesome.
sitting on gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
it might be
wanna-
something. Like I don't know. I haven't like ever like taken them anywhere or asked anything, but it's cool. Like no, I just anything that I was obsessed with, like TV show wise or game wise. If they had cards, I was buying them. Like same thing with my sports teams. Like I just wanted to get like my favorite players or get autographs or whatever. So I definitely had that itch as a kid when I was growing up, and you know. They were easy to get because like they're relatively cheap, so your parents probably wouldn't put up too much of a like, oh, that's too expensive kind of a fight, you know.
Yeah.
A couple packs, fine,
Yeah.
you know.
Shout out to the
I don't-
Pokemon Jungle or the Fossil Pack being cheaper than Jungle or Base set, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got all
Oh,
the
yeah, that's right,
I got all
yeah.
the fossil sets, dude. I had Gengar, Aerodactyl, fuck.
Bring
So-
that binder
Alright,
over next pay-per-view, Andres.
Okay.
I'd be curious to look at it.
Rate is
I want to open this because there's the
Box.
Gengar in there, but I don't want to not get that Gengar.
All right, let's see what I got in this other one. Oh, speaking of, well, I guess we didn't talk about wrestling people who got let go, but I just got a Cora Jade card. Cora Jade.
Nice.
We'll be seeing her soon.
Rated rookie card. That's pretty cool. NXT 2.0. And then I got another Brock Lesnar card, but this one says season ticket, C2 row 21 section 80.
What?
I'm not sure. Is it like where they took this picture from?
We'll
'Cause
find out.
There's also a barcode, a QR code on the side.
Maybe
I wonder
that's
if
an
that leads
actual
to
ticket,
anything.
like fucking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, scan that shit. See what it is.
I'll do it after the show. I got your local Catholic school teacher, Greg Valentine,
Nice.
over here.
That's the lunch lady.
Gym
Yes,
teacher.
your local lunch lady, number 100, WWE Legends card. Greg Valentine. Ooh, this is a cool one. See, I like that they also do like action shots, and they also make them very nice and holographic. Jake Roberts, certified.
That's
Hell yeah.
That's a nice one. Yeah.
That's a parallel, dude. That's good.
Parallel, you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice. 2022 certified card. Man, I just got another Greg Valentine card. Is this the same one? Yeah, I got
Are you
two
Greg
of these.
Valentine?
I got two of these mother effers.
damn. Give me
Man.
one.
I didn't realize I
No
could get
reason.
doubles, but I guess I could. WWE Chronicles British Bulldog. I got some good ones, I gotta say.
Davey. That's
Rest
another
in
from
peace.
Davey to Davey.
Yeah,
From
right.
Davey to Davey.
That's cool.
Rip.
And catching the smoke. Got the smoke. I got a Montez Ford card here.
Who want the
From
From
smoke?
here.
Chicago, Illinois, Montez Ford. That's pretty sick. Yeah, these are neat. I'm gonna add these to my binder. But yeah, David, you also got some cards, didn't you? Didn't you get AEW Upper Decker cards?
Yeah.
Did you open them yet, or?
Yeah, hold on. I'll grab them.
Oh yeah.
They're not in order anymore.
So let me ask you guys this
But
while
fuck
we
it.
wait for those cards. How do you feel like memorabilia patches like the debut patch or WrestleMania patch? How do you feel like that kind of changes the fan experience when you add things like a memorabilia patch
I
or a
think
debut patch?
it makes it worse in the sense of like if you're trying to obtain that shit, like it's like instant, especially now. People probably got bots set up just to buy this crap.
Yeah, Walmart
Yeah,
just
probably
changed
do.
their whole card buying or their whole online purchasing structure to
Like, they
combat
have
bots.
to. They have
Yeah.
to, I feel, because like people are just
Best
making
Buy,
it into
too.
like a career to just do this kind of stuff. And
All
anybody
right.
I mean,
who's
can't they theoretically just be like, all right, the only way you can do it is if you actually go into the store and pick it up instead of having it online? But I feel like that's
Yeah,
one way to
that's what
combat
Best Buy's
scalpers.
doing.
Well, actually, I have a question. So the patch, is it just like a patch that the wrestlers wore when they, like, for the in-ring for that WrestleMania night specifically, or are they selling like the patch separately too?
No,
It's a cutout of their
apparently-
wardrobe.
Yeah, it's a cutout of their wardrobe that so apparently it's just the one only, right? It's not like they had multiple on their ass or something.
Right.
Um,
Damn, that's
Some of
cool.
them had it on their boots.
Willy
yeah.
Wonka golden ticket type shit.
All right.
so I feel like that specific like factor, I feel like that really kicked the popularity into high gear because you feel like you're going to get something like you'll get cool cards, but then you're basically like you said getting the golden ticket by getting these patches from wrestlers, things that will probably be worth a fortune. But then the other thing is like, how much are you spending to get that? To get that patch.
Oh man,
Is your return on investment going to be the same, or
Never.
hey, I spent $5,000, but at least I got a patch for Becky Lynch or something. I don't know.
Well, to
do we know
defend,
how much like they go for, or did we see anyone buy one or nothing? Or
I feel like I'm sure they've got stuff on there.
Okay.
They also, I
I'm
think
sure
they
there's-
do, and they also do autographs too. So that's another thing where in the new ones there's one autograph card in the packs. So they're adding a lot of incentive to buy these, and like you said, it feels like you're buying Taylor Swift tickets if you're trying to do it online. Like you're gonna need a verification email. You have to get it in a queue or something. Like I feel like you're gonna have to change the way you do this stuff. But yeah. So do you see, like, in terms of like value, what do you feel like is more valuable? Do you feel like the autographed cards would be more valuable, or those patches?
I think the patches.
Patch is 1-of-1 apparently.
Yeah, I agree.
So even the autograph cards are usually like either 10 or 100, somewhere in between those numbers.
That's true. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it's just a matter of like how many are out there. If there's only one,
It's kind of like in the NFL, they put the Super Bowl logo on their jersey specifically for that moment only, for that one game. So I think that's kind of cool, actually.
Like Cena's Mania patch. Or anybody's Mania patch.
Where did he put his Mania patch?
Somewhere
George?
stupid.
His
bald spot?
armband, his jeans.
But yeah,
he went to Turkey, man. He got his hair back in. He said, "You guys
because he got bullied.
made me." Yeah, you bullied him, Andres. You specifically bullied him into getting hair growth.
hell yeah.
Those
Surgery.
cans spray just kind of like real quick,
Mhm.
So
Some
let's see.
grease.
Here's my AEW cards.
You just opened it?
AEW's from Upper Deck. No, I opened them like earlier in the week.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna share the hits. They're 5 cards per pack, 4 cards per box. I got a parallel print, so a different color of one of the Matt Jackson.
That's dope.
And this is him at Revolution, so this is Sting's last match, so that's pretty cool.
Damn.
That's neat.
I got a This Is Awesome moment, and it's Timeless Tony Storm.
Ooh.
Damn.
I've seen Thanks to the Goons. This guy has some worth.
Nice.
I got a Straps, which is like championship pictures and stuff of Saraya. So that's cool because she's gone.
Yeah,
See, those
that's cool.
layouts look nice. I like the way that they're designed.
And then I have one called AEW, which is like all the prospects and all the special is another like special print. I got Big Black and Jacked, Powerhouse Hobbs, Team Taz, the Ops, whatever you want to.
Nice.
Got a Black Diamond parallel of Chris Statlander.
Ooh,
Chris
that's
Statlander's cool.
Nice.
Shout
Like
out
the
to
design.
Stat.
I got another in-action picture, this one of Queen Aminata. And this was in a boost, or the blaster pack. So this is
What's in the background?
that's
Is that like
it's confetti? Yeah, it's confetti print, which is special to the blaster boxes. And then
nice.
I got a Willie Goat also in the exclusive confetti.
Damn.
And then for like regular prints, let's see. I pulled Mercedes.
Damn, you didn't get a Mercedes?
Ricky Saints, which I
I like how the names are like the X-Men 97 TV intro thing where they're just like they got those giant texts.
and then I got a bunch of people that, no offense, don't really care for. AR Fox,
He's alright.
Trish Adora. I have yet to see one of your matches. I hope I do soon. Lexi Nair, keep up the good work. Anna Jay, like her new stuff with Harley Cameron. Excited.
AJ.
And Stardom. Red Velvet, I hope you do something since they put you on Ring of Honor since Jade Cargill left.
Yeah.
Toa Leona, there's a place called the Bloodline waiting for you. Commander, Viva Mexico.
Hey.
Wardlow,
Hey.
where you at, bro?
Wide load.
Missing.
Wardlow. Brian Cage.
Oh shit, King.
Those look nice.
Wheeler Yuta.
Oh shit, he don't got the goofy haircut.
And the Boot. Sure.
Oh,
That
nice.
was. I thought that was Goldberg. That looks
Hell
nice.
yeah, those are sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty legit.
So, what do you guys think in terms of like the gimmicks for the cards that Topps is currently doing? Do you feel like do you think there's a limit to that? Do you think they can overdo it with new innovations? What do you guys think? Like, is there a limit?
They have a good rotation because like their baseball cards are pretty like well thought out.
Yeah.
Like by us, I know people like camp out for their baseball card restocks and stuff.
Wow.
That's true. Do you feel like these cards, and I don't think this is going to be true, but do you feel like they will be oversaturated in the market? Like, do you think they'll grow in value, or do you think they'll be oversaturated and then basically worthless? And I guess like for the patches, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself. For you'll never be oversaturated because if it is one of one, then it's hard to be oversaturated. But I guess like all these other cards, do you think there's a fear of oversaturation with these cards?
I don't think so because of like the
Yeah, I don't think so
serial
either.
numbered ones. Because like there's a lot of like parallels, which is like different. The difference in these are all numbered.
Which I think helps.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, with that,
So-
launching
yeah.
album. Oh, sorry. I think you're getting out. But I mean, it's that thing. Granted, they before. I mean, I think the top record good opportunity to jump in is because so it's smart. I mean, and actually, the idea of the pack is really good. The autograph should have stolen Rockford. It's actually
Everybody's breaking up.
be overrated. I don't. It's gonna be popular over time.
Am I cutting out, or are you guys cutting out?
Everybody was for
Sounds
me.
like freezing.
Yeah, that was the
Oh.
Discord issue.
Weird. Now
Talking to
Okay.
myself.
We heard you, but it might have been chopped up, which might have to be edited out. Well, Andres, if you want to reiterate what you just said, because I think it's cut out for everybody, right?
Well, I was thinking. Okay,
What?
so who is Tops, right? That jumped into it, or it was the parent company or whatever.
They
I
did a
think
new
them.
Fanatics bought Tops.
Oh, okay.
Basically,
Fanatics,
now
okay.
he has the
Fanatics is basically Mitchell and Ness. Fanatics is Ness. Our lids. So like
Okay.
they got a pretty strong hold on sports memorabilia.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember. I bought stuff off of Fanatics actually. Like their website, they had like everything you could want for whatever team, really. But I think they recognized the opportunity of like joining with WWE to do this, and I think it was a great idea because WWE is pretty much like as hot as it's been in a long time. So doing like exclusive like autographs and the patches too, I think was ingenious, honestly. Hell, they could probably do it for every pay per view. Just have like a patch of the actual like logo going forward. I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't
Whatever
think
the
it's
shit.
specific
I got-
Backlash logo is.
Yeah, and
I
I
got
don't know if it'll be like
baseball cards.
oversaturated, but if they keep
Yeah,
it like
jersey
limited
pack.
as it's going, but it's selling, so that's crazy. I didn't even know it even sold out until you said so.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so sold out. It's annoying.
Yeah, it is like I went in like Sunday afternoon just to see, and there was already a kid just staring at the empty trading card section at Target. I was like, man, like I feel like
Waiting for
everyone's
shit
just
to reappear.
yeah, like it's just everyone's always on edge. It feels like if you go in those things, but I guess it's a reflection of. I do think it is a reflection of like the popularity of WWE as a brand. So getting these specific cards is popular now. I mean, it's like Beanie Babies, right? Like Beanie Babies
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
were very popular in the 90s and they kind of
And you remember what killed
died.
them?
Was it the
Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon cards. Yeah, you're right.
Pokemon killed them.
Yeah. But I mean, like, do you guys remember like the Beanie Babies and all that kind of stuff? I mean, like people were going wild over those things, getting all
There's
these
a
different
resurgence
variations
though
of
of
Beanie
not
Babies.
Beanie Babies. What's that thing that people are buying now? It's got like the
Labubu.
Funko Pops.
that's it. That thing. What's
What
it
is
called
So
it?
here's
again?
the thing. Labubu. They look
Labubu.
like animals from the Wild Things, where the Wild Things are.
Yep.
Pop Mart just opened in just about every fucking mall, and all of a sudden Labubus are special. So it's just like marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but it
I don't
works.
think I've seen this. Right?
I went to the Pop Mart in Rosemont the other day, and the only Labubu they had left was the one that was $3.29.
329.
329?
Yeah, it was a pretty big figure.
That's
That was
crazy.
big.
Yeah.
How big
But
is
they-
the figure?
Probably
That's like a
like
Switch.
18. Probably like 18, dude. It was like this fucking
Oh, damn.
I gotta
Yeah.
see
They
what
were
these
like
look like. 'Cause
keychains.
I've
It was
heard
like
that term.
it was as big as a PS5, like in terms of height.
The original PS5 or the slim one.
The original, like
It's a
Wait,
a
is it
giant air
Korean?
filter.
Where is this coming from? This
I want to say Japan, because like I mean I don't know, but like the rest of the figures there and like everything else like gave off a lot of like Kid Robot, fucking like type of vibes, Kid Robot and all.
Oh, these are cute. Oh, these are cute. This is actually from Hong Kong.
oh.
Created by
Oh,
Hong Kong designer.
I'm a
Casting
racist.
Wong.
Just kidding.
Hong Kong born artist. Hong Kong born artist raised in the Netherlands.
Well, what the fuck? How did you
That's wild.
had some hot brownies?
So
Drawing shit from where the wild things are.
So I get created the story.
That's
says the
what that
monsters are
looks like
influenced
to
by
me.
Nordic folklore.
AKA the where the wild things are.
Oh.
So I guess they gained widespread attention in April 2024 after Blackpink's Lisa was spotted with it, and then there was a keychain on her bag, and then
So you could
it
thank
quickly
K-pop.
gained popularity in like Thailand, and then I mean you were right, David. Other parts of Southeast and East Asia.
Yeah,
I mean,
my sister collects them since before they were cool.
before
But she loves
2024.
like K-pop and all that, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and like you said, Pop Mart is the Chinese toy company.
Damn, I was all wrong.
But I guess that's like a new version of the Beanie Babies. I mean, I feel like there's always some kind of collectible thing or popular thing that people just it takes people by storm. I mean, it also like the Beanie Babies thing like was taking over the kids like moms and dads too because they also thought it was like a retirement thing. But with the WWE and the AEW trading cards, what do you think can gravitate you towards the trading cards? Do you feel like the way that they're currently designed and you know their lineup and stuff? Do you feel like do you like that? And is there anything else that you'd add to these trading cards to separate them from other?
Both
trading
companies have autographs, so it's like you can't really ask for much more other than like the Mania patches and things like that.
How about like a blood splatter on one of them? Like here's
No thanks.
a little a little heavy.
Hangman.
No thanks.
I mean, maybe if they took like pieces of the ring,
Yeah.
like from the pay-per-view.
I don't want to contract HIV.
Yeah, like my Hogan ring patch that I have somewhere from my WWE 2K. I don't know which 2K it was. I think it was like 2K. 14.
Now with HIV.
16,
Yeah,
15,
maybe
14.
not. Yeah, I think maybe it's 2K15 or 14. But yeah, I mean, I think that'd be cool having pieces of the ring of a specific event that maybe that specific shot of the wrestler was in. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the in-action portraits that I like come
Yeah.
from like certain pay-per-views and PLEs.
Yeah, those look nice.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and get. Honestly, I'll probably try and get more of these packs, at least because they're available at GameStop.
But let's go.
And because there's some value to them.
Stop by the
But I
brick.
also think they look cool to collect. I think they look neat. I just wish the top chrome ones were available and not cost like $700 on Amazon, probably from a scalper and a reseller.
That took out all the good cards.
They just
Yeah,
left all the
exactly.
lame ones packaged.
and then yeah, repackaged it, put a fake laminate over it.
Just use the heat sealer.
It's just a box of air for $700.
Greatest scam.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that is a wrap for this episode of the Chi-Town Shoot podcast. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, rate us, and leave your feedback. Tune in next time for more wrestling madness. Until then, keep marking out.